at yet another episode of Site Spotlight. My name is Marieke van der Rakt and I am here with Taco Verdonschot.
Marieke,
Yes,
we have a very, very interesting site today,
we have.
right?
Yeah.
I think that this might be our juiciest episode yet. So, shall we jump right into it?
We shall. Yes, let's start with the homepage. We're already looking at it. So today we are reviewing a website called GHL Central. GHL. Yes. So let's take a look at that homepage. And right away, I have to be honest, I was confused. The top headline says, supporting you in your Go High Level journey. And then your number one source for Go High Level snapshots, training and support. But here's the problem. If you don't already know what Go High Level is, these phrases don't help much. What exactly is a snapshot? What kind of training or support are we talking about? Is this a platform, a community, a course? There's a button who says visit our marketplace. So now I'm wondering, is this a marketplace or is it more of a training site? Is it both? So I thought perhaps I'm just not part of their target audience. So for a lot of people, this is clear. So I scrolled down and then scroll a little bit more down. I think a little bit more. New to Go High Level. To get started with Go High Levels. You see that? So if you...
Where do we... Oh, there. Yes.
Yes. If you hit that or the scroll below, you can press something. Yeah, that's... Yes. Click that. Can you?
Right. Yes, it's loading.
Then I found a decent explanation. Go High Level is an all-in-one marketing and sales platform. That's what it is. It's designed to streamline your processes, enhance productivity, and boost your results. So that's useful.
What exactly is that?
Well, that's at least, it has something to do with marketing and sales.
Okay.
Right? So
Yeah.
I now knew I am part of their target audience because I am such a person. I am no longer on the homepage. So a visitor has to already know what Go Level is or Go High Level is, or be willing to click around and search for an explanation. And I agree with you, it's not a very good explanation. It's very like generic still. So I think that is a missed opportunity. If you go back to the homepage.
Yep, can do.
Yeah, then you see more blog categories. If you scroll down a bit, you see reviews. So there is a lot of stuff in there, but it's hard to figure out what it is. I think that the website is aimed at supporting users of Go High Level with training resources and community support. But I'm not entirely sure. And I've clicked around quite a bit. The core message doesn't come through clearly on the homepage. And that's like the main purpose of a homepage, to tell people what your product is about. So I think this homepage should be improved by clearly explaining what Go High Level is in plain language. It should clarify what a Go High Level Central, so the GHL Central offers. For example, we help Go High Level users with templates, training and support to grow their businesses faster. That could be something. And if people aren't familiar with the platform, you should guide them towards what the heck you're doing, right? And so This isn't just about branding. It's also making the homepage inclusive to new visitors and not just your existing users. So that's what I thought about the homepage. I'm very, very curious to what you came up with.
So usually I like to start this section with looking at the sitemap.
Right.
But in this case, there was something else that sort of triggered my triggered a lot of emotions. Let's put it that way. And that is when we go to scale and then to SEO. And now I'm still, and you can see that there are broken images on this website, right? So on the top left, there's the boost your SEO with Go High Level. There's a broken image sign, and just below that, so every post seemed to have a broken image.
Yeah.
Now, the second I move my mouse,
it comes.
The image appears, and that goes for all the images Well, in this case, there's two, but this goes for all the pages, all the blog posts. They all have the same behavior. And that's interesting because at first I thought it was my computer being slow, but
Yeah.
I'm on a 1 gigabit fiber to the home internet connection wired. There's no reason why this would be so slow because it's not a very large image. So after a few attempts, I found out that it's actually related to me interacting with the website. So
Yeah.
moving my mouse or doing something on the keyboard. And so what it seems to be is a poorly configured lazy loading solution.
Right.
And lazy loading is a way of loading the important stuff on your website faster, but only loading assets at the time you need them. But you don't want to do that in the viewport. So that's the part of the website that you can immediately see when you arrive on the page, because then you get this strange behavior.
Yeah.
So something must have been misconfigured, and that's worth looking into.
Yeah.
It's a bad user experience, but even worse, if you consider search engines, they don't move a mouse on your page, or they don't trigger a keyboard action, so they might never see that those images exist at all on your website. So it actually hurts the way that search engines see your site as well. Speaking of images, and I'm going to scroll all the way down because all the images on the site are lazy loaded, except for the images in the footer. So the whole site is loading sort of as you need it, but then incorrectly, except for the footer. And those are quite large images that are loaded instantly, actually slow down your page. So that is problematic and needs some attention. Yeah, and I have another interesting thing. Have you ever heard of these things called cookies, Marika?
Yeah, I eat them a lot, but you mean different ones, right?
Yeah, exactly, the website ones. So they're little files that a website can leave on a visitor's computer to store information.
Right.
And some of them are essential. For example, if you have a web shop and you need to store what someone put in their cart, that's what we call an essential cookie. But most of them are not essential. So they're used for personalization settings, like a preferred language on a site. They're used for analytics or marketing and tracking purposes. And since, well, forever, basically, there's a cookie law in the European Union that says if you have those tracking cookies, you have to have permission in order to set them. So you cannot set those cookies before you've asked for permission from your visitor.
Right.
Now, the problem is that this website loads a lot of tracking scripts and a lot sets quite a few tracking cookies, but there is no consent banner. There is no way to tell the website, yes, I agree with the cookies that you're setting, which means that it's in violation of that European cookie law.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not quite sure where the website owner is based. Probably not in the European Union, but the cookie law, European cookie law, also applies if your target audience is located in the European Union. So even if you're an American business or an Asian business and your site is hosted elsewhere, but part of your target audience is Europe, for example, because you sell to European customers, you still have to
Obey
follow that cookie law.
Yeah.
And the fines for violating it are actually quite high. So it's up to 20 million or 4% of your global turnover, whichever is higher.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. And that means there's a really good reason to make sure that either you're not tracking anything. If you don't use that data, don't collect it, or that you do the proper consent and use a decent cookie banner and get that permission
Yeah.
before you set the first tracking cookie.
And that's not hard to do, right?
It depends, but there are some good solutions in WordPress, so
Yes,
it's
for sure.
definitely doable.
So let's look at the content of this website, specifically how it reads, how it performs in terms of SEO, how it comes across as a reader. So I took a look at some of the blog posts, and there's a lot of content, and much of it is clearly sales oriented, and that in itself is not much of a problem. I think the website is transparent about using affiliate links, which is a good practice. But I think overall the tone feels a little bit overly commercial, and it feels like as a reader I'm being sold to something rather than helped. There are a lot of lists and comparison posts which people are actively searching. So from an SEO point of view, that's a good thing to have. Right? And I think in terms of readability, most articles score very well. The writing is pretty clean, the sentences are short, it's all easy to follow. So technically, this website is doing everything right. But even with that said, I'm not a big fan of the overall writing style. And why? Well, because most of the content lacks a bit of personality. So let me give you an example here. Can we go to the blog post about mental health for tech entrepreneurs? Thank you, Taco.
Yes.
So this is a meaningful topic and one that many people in the tech and business world will relate to. But the content feels very generic. So a sentence from the post: the nature of entrepreneurship is inherently stressful. The constant decision-making, financial pressures, and the never-ending to-do list can take a toll on mental health. Now, is that true? Yes. But it's also the kind of sentence that you would find in 100 other blog posts. It lacks voice, it lacks depth. And what would really help here is a personal anecdote, a story, a specific example that would make it more relatable. So the perspective of the author is vague. The post sounds like it's trying to be helpful, but we don't know who is writing it or why this topic matters to them, right? So this post in particular reads like it was either AI generated or heavily AI assisted with minimal editing. So because of the generic phrasing, the repetitive structure, so each tip follows the same formula, and no references to tools, research, or real experiences. So it's not bad content, it's just very generic, and with a bit of human input, some edits, some personality, that would become much stronger. So overall, my thoughts on content. It's pretty well in SEO and readability, but from a quality perspective, there's really room to grow, especially by adding more personality, more authenticity. So even small changes in a post like this, like a personal story or like a research or something else, that could make a really big difference. And that's it for content then.
Let's start with basic keyboard accessibility.
Right.
The quickest way to test keyboard accessibility is to just leave your mouse alone and navigate the website with just your keyboard. And the important question then is, can you reach everything on the site like a user with a mouse can? And to test this, you go to the website, as I've done here, and you hit Tab. And what I would expect is the first thing to see is a link that will take me to the main content. Unfortunately, that's not available on this website. But that could be a quick addition to the theme to make sure that you add that for your users. Now, the next thing is that your menu should be fully accessible with just a keyboard. Now, if I tap, you can see that Marketplace changes color, which means it now has focus. If I tab again, I go to Start, I go to Grow, and this way I go through the menu. However, this menu has submenus, and there is no way for me, using just the keyboard, to get into one of those submenus. When I hit spacebar or hit enter, I go to the page itself, but not to the submenu. So there's no way for me to navigate through this site
Without your
and
mouse.
without the mouse.
Yeah.
And using my mouse, I can quickly show that there is indeed
Yeah.
a
A lot
large
going on.
submenu,
Yeah.
which is quite essential to navigating this website. So
Yeah.
this really is a problem for people who cannot use a mouse. The other thing is, because all you see is that color change, for people who have lower vision or are vision impaired, this might not be enough of an indication to show where they are on your website using the keyboard. A better solution would probably be to completely box it in or
Yeah.
have another visually stronger
Underline.
way than just a color difference.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is not the only problem with accessibility. So if we use the Wave browser add-on that we've used in the past as well, we can see that there's a lot of errors
Yeah.
reported. And 90 of them are actually errors which need immediate attention because they limit the way that you can use the website. Most of them are empty links. But there's also empty buttons, so that means that it's buttons without any indication what it is. Form labels missing, which means there's a form on the website with no indication of what that form is doing or what it's for. And those are the kind of problems that immediately limit the way that people can interact with your website if they're not sort of your regular keyboard and mouse users. So those need immediate attention and need solving in order to make your website accessible. Let's take a look at the site speed of this website. And with site speed, we mean how fast does this website load on a computer, a device, a phone, tablet, what have you. Usually we use Google PageSpeed Insights for this, which is a nice tool by Google that helps us understand the areas where the site can improve. Now, we already saw that images were lazy loaded, but in the wrong way.
Yeah.
But there are more problems with images. If you look at the screen currently, you will see that there's a scrolling banner.
Yeah. I hate that, Taco.
Well,
Oh,
they're
sorry.
from a usability perspective not very good. They're from a conversion perspective not very good. But the problem with this specific one is that the images used to load the thing
Yeah.
are ginormous.
Oh.
And it's super, super slow. And I don't often say that, but let's switch to PageSpeed Insights. And we can see, I mean, at first Core Web Vitals looks quite okay.
Pretty good, yes.
When we scroll down, you see a performance score of 38,
Wow.
which is extremely low.
Yeah.
And if we look at the numbers here, the largest contentful paint took 27 seconds. That means that it took half a minute for that carousel thing to load on this page, because that is the largest contentful paint on the homepage. And that is extremely slow. Usually when we're talking about site speed, we're talking about seconds, but rather milliseconds.
Yeah. Now we're talking about half a minute.
Yes. And there won't be a whole lot of users waiting for your website for half a minute to load. Not in this day and age.
No.
So that is absolutely problematic. Most of the problems are due to render blocking, and you can see a whole bunch of hints here in PageSpeed Insights.
Yeah.
So please do this test yourself and start solving all of these one by one, because this is actually costing you money.
But
Because
this
your
is
site is
solvable,
simply too
right? So
slow.
I see that this is bad, but it's also like a big opportunity to really improve your website.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of people who can say that they can shave off 27 seconds of their loading time.
No,
So it's a
right?
huge opportunity for improvement.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. And with that, we've
come
reached
to the end.
the end of today's Site Spotlight.
I really enjoyed this one. I agree with you that there's a lot of work to do, but it's also nice to give someone like a few big chunks to work on and really improve that website.
And to be fair, the larger things are usually easier to solve than all those 1,000 little details that come after.
Yeah.
So, Nicholas, we know you're an amazing guy, and we know you are looking forward to this Site Spotlight. So, have fun.
Good luck! And all of you watching, we'll see you on the next episode. Bye bye!
Thanks for watching. We know your time is valuable, and we're glad you spent some of it with us. If you got value from today's video, go ahead and like, leave a comment and hit subscribe and the bell so you don't miss the next tip. And if you're ready to keep going, check out another video right here. We've got more ways to help you level up your website without the overwhelm.